beautiful rainy day in Bixby Knolls, and we're here quarantined from the COVID virus, and we're working from our house, which is what we usually do anyway, is work from our house. And we're wondering what's going to happen. We've been working really hard. We've got quite a few sales in escrow, and we're trying to manage them and make sure nothing happens to them, shepherding them on to the finish. There's a lot of people that are negative and passing out some misinformation. Some people were saying the county recorder wasn't going to be recording documents, and a few years ago they actually went electronic. I just remember standing in line with a title company while they recorded their documents by hand. But a couple of years ago, that's all changed. Everything is really being done electronically, and the title companies have a lot of safety features built into protecting us so that our transactions will go through and will get recorded, and we'll be able to finish them up. There's also been a lot of upheaval in the mortgage market, and it was really interesting because rates were dropping and people were freaking out. Refinances were up 250%. The lenders weren't knowing they just didn't know what to do with all the business that they had. And so all of a sudden, right at the week when they said it was going to be 0.25% interest on the Federal Reserve lowered their rates to 0.25%, mortgage interest rates actually went up. Very few people knew this unless you were in the business of monitoring them. But at the end of the day, it went up because mortgage interest rates aren't tied to the federal rate. They're tied to the 10-year Treasury bill. And it's the 10-year Treasury bills that determine what the interest rate's going to be. And they fluctuate throughout the day just like the stock market. And when you look at it in the long run, and in talking to a couple of the other mortgage specialists that we work with, they said, well, we think this is going to be kind of a blip, and the rates, even though they went up to from 2 to 4.5, and all these people are talking about getting rates in the 2s, so it's probably not going to happen unless you got lucky for one day. Boom. Anyway, the rates are settling back down again. To tell you the truth, anything less than 5% in my world, because I've been doing this since 1975, is a boon and a benefit and a blessing. So we have a real positive attitude about where the interest rate market is. We have a positive attitude where prices on houses are going. We kind of don't know where prices on houses are going. Our last listing sold for over list price in a matter of days, but that was before the quarantine started. That was right at the very beginning of the talk of the quarantine. Not sure how it's going to be now. People are not doing open houses. But what we do know is this is not an economic collapse. This is an event. It's an event like 9/11. It's not an economic collapse like in 2008 and 2010. It's something that we just have to deal with. It will be over in a few months. It will linger on perhaps for a while. If you look at an event like Hurricane Katrina, where the results of that lasted at the epicenter of the hurricane for years, but in the surrounding areas, everybody got over it relatively quickly. This is an event. It's not an economic collapse. I'll bet you all the people that are stuck in their house with their spouses that they don't want to get stuck in the house with anyway, when it's all said and done, they're going to go out and have a nice romantic dinner, and all of a sudden, all the restaurants, you won't be able to get a table. The restaurants won't be shut down. Everybody will be looking to get a table at their favorite restaurant. It's going to change that quickly, and everything will bounce back. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, that are losing their jobs. They're being laid off. This is going to be over in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. That's still a relatively short amount of time. It's an event. When it's over, people go back to work. It's what will happen. Hang in there. It'll be fun. And you know what? I heard there's going to be a boon in the population, a huge population explosion. All these people are stuck at home. They're going to call the new generation the Coronials.